Hi everyone. I first wish you a happy Christmas time. And for this fourth episode of AI Stories, we will exchange with Ken Falk. Ken is the founder and CEO at Scopito. Scopito was started up in 2014, and they are on a mission to build a visual inspection software platform to inspect critical energy infrastructures, such as wind turbines, electrical grids, telecom towers, or even solar panels. And making energy space better is capital for our future. But it is also a highly complicated space to crack to bring new tech. So if you want to get some insights from Ken, follow me.
My name is Ken Falk. I'm the CEO and founder of Scopito. I have a background in computer science, and I used to work for a software company doing mission critical systems for the defense industry. And at some point, I decided I wanted to start my own. So I quit my job, and here we are a bunch of years later.
Great. And could you tell us more about what you build at Scopito every day?
Yeah. Well, if I zoom back a bit, I can say that we actually started the company by doing drone inspections. So everyone was flying, including myself. And that's luckily not the case anymore. um, but we started flying for power line companies in Denmark, and we focused only on those power line inspections. So I would say we got pretty good at that because of our focus. And pretty soon, this was back in 2013, we were delivering, back then it was inspections of 5 or 10,000 images. So small amounts compared to today, but the client was literally sitting in Windows Picture Viewer, one image at a time, and then finding the images with faults, and then building a PowerPoint report, and then basically realizing when they wanted to send this to colleagues that it was 2 GB large, so they couldn't send it. And we kind of figured we believe drones are going to get a lot bigger. And if this is going to scale, we need a simple way to basically go from thousands or even millions of inspection images to a report showing where you need to go and fix things. So
Okay.
that's basically what we focus on today, 100% just on the software, and basically going from a lot of captured images to a report showing where you need to go and fix stuff.
Scopito has been in operation from 2014, 13, you mentioned. Could you give us a word, on how you've seen this market, this energy market evolving over the last, I would say, 7 years, 7, 8 years from now?
Yeah, so I think that there's been a lot of hype about drones and AI and automation and all these things, and I think that generally speaking, the market has actually moved slower than people expected. So, when we started, there was a lot of, what can you say, hype, or we were at the start of the hype curve, where everyone expected it to be exponential growth for everyone. And it probably was for a lot of companies, but only because they were so small. So once you started getting to a level where you were sort of in the millions of revenue, you didn't see that same growth in a lot of companies.
Okay.
And I think that's been hard for a lot of companies. And I think we were fortunate in the sense that we we didn't bootstrap, but we didn't spend so many resources, and we were just about break even a lot of the years. So I think we've been able to sort of follow the market at a pace that it was actually developing. And I think as a result, a lot of companies had to pivot or do things. And yeah, I think it's not easy, but it's been very, very exciting and very learning experience. And I think we've been very fortunate, mostly because of our clients, actually, that we have so many clients around the world that they have been able to sort of tell us what's happening, and we've been able to make the right decisions. Yeah, to make sure that we're still in business and we have a healthy business today.
Okay. And now if we take like a concrete customer, and that starts using a Scopito application, how does it work? Imagine, you start using the product. How do I use it? How do I interact with it? What value do I extract from it, etc.?
So basically, you just go to our website, you can start a free trial, and you're up and running in 2 minutes. You can start uploading data. You can manually annotate your data. You can create these reports and basically share this data with whoever needs to look at it. And part of that workflow process, we also have some integrations to AI, to basically train AI, but also to integrate any AI to basically do what the people are doing manually, looking for errors, and generate the same kind of reports.
Okay, and for example, if we take the topic of power grids inspections, how do your customers and users interact with AI? Where is the human in the loop
Yeah.
in your application?
So this is just my personal opinion, but what I see in the market is that AI is not at the level that everyone hopes it's at yet. So it basically means that most of the analysis is still done by human beings, and a lot of companies are working on AI, but they haven't gotten to a point where AI, when I call it commercialization of AI, I actually mean that if you deploy the AI, it saves you time and money compared to doing it manually. And that's sort of the benchmark that we haven't seen yet. It's not starting to identify components, doing inventory, but finding that woodpecker hole that you need and not getting too many false positives. That is still a challenge in what we see. And I've probably spoken to 60 AI companies the last 2 years, and there is a lot of really good things happening. I just don't think it's been at the level where it saves time and money yet.
So in this regard, what would you say could really change the game? I mean, in terms of milestones with AI at scale, is that about qualified data? Is that about more homogeneity in the taxonomies, in the quality referential? What is missing, to really bring AI in everyday life of power grids technicians and inspectors, for example?
I think that if I knew that, we would have some very good solutions on the market now. I think that one of the problems is that a lot with AI is sort of a black box. So you do things, you have experts looking at the data, looking at the outcomes, and then thinking that this will probably improve it. And so there's a lot of small incremental steps needed. And as you dig more into getting that required reliability, you sort of, you open the box more and you realize there are more issues. So, just lighting conditions, angles of the capture, there's a lot of stuff that comes up when you're really digging down to a maintenance workflow and not just a proof of concept.
And so you mentioned that AI for now can has reached some point of maturity for some specific use cases. You mentioned like woodpecker holes detections, inventory, like detecting equipment. What do you have at Scopito, or have you reached some kind of maturity in some use cases? And if you can mention that.
So I think we have a slightly different view at Scopito. So our mission is to enable the future of visual inspections. And basically what we see a lot of our clients struggling with is that they actually have quite some data in our platform or somewhere else, and it's already been annotated. And they don't know if they're close to AI or not. So a lot of these companies actually spend a lot of money on proof of concepts, saying, hey, let's build AI for you in 3-6 months. We'll deliver a model, and we actually have no idea if it will work or not, but it's still at a significant cost. So we basically build this automated training workflow that allows the client to say, hey, I already have 10,000 broken insulators annotated. Let's try and build a model automated. And we're not saying, hey, this is commercial, this will be 90% accurate, but we're saying, push this button, and probably in 2 to 4 days, we'll have trained a model and you'll know if it's 10% accurate or if it's 60 or 70. If it's 60, 70, it might make sense to put some experts on it and get it closer to 80 or maybe 90% if you're lucky. But if you're at 10%, you need to change something significant to start spending resources on it. So that's sort of our take on it, this automated training that we enable for our clients. And then we say, when you want to go really serious about it, we actually recommend that you go with some AI company and we can integrate their models very easily.
Could you tell me, I mean, you've been in operation for the last 7, 8 years. Do you have in mind, some impactful event or something important to you? You allowed fixing, with your platform for your customers. Do you have something in mind, like where you are really proud of you and your team in this regard?
I think that what we're mostly proud of is, I think that, we've had customers coming to us over the last 8 years or so, and we basically have not lost a single enterprise client since we started. So we're very proud that I think that we're very good at keeping our clients. They're happy. We might want to be better at acquiring new clients, but to me, it's very nice that people stay with us. I think that's generally what we're mostly proud of.
Okay, congratulations. I mean, it's not easy in this space for sure.
Thank you.
With years to get some customers, so if you can keep them for years as well, that's amazing. And what you say has been the most difficult part, at building Scopito platform and I mean the AI training workflow, but also generally speaking the software, actually, this SaaS.
Yeah, I think that the most difficult things are saying no, or sort of saying we don't have the resources to focus on everything. So I think along the way, and this again, it was aided a lot by our clients because they helped us understand the market. But I think it was back in 2016, we sold off the drone service part. So we only did software. And that was a difficult decision back then. But a couple of years later, it turns out that, a lot of companies are pivoting like that today. And I think maybe 2 years later, in 19, I think it was actually 18, we decided not to build our own AI, but build this automated training workflow. And I think that's also been, something that's been very important for the direction of us. So we're trying to say we don't do everything ourselves, but we want good, trustworthy partners, and we want to build stuff together with them.
And today, so you serve different application like distribution, transmission, electrical grids, solar, wind turbines. Do you have? Could you share, a rough distribution on your not on the revenue, but just in percentage? Like what is the most powerful application, and where do you see the biggest growth? Over the next months, years.
So T&D is definitely our largest area. And it's also, we were born out of the maintenance department of the largest transmission line company in Denmark. So it is where we have our focus and where we have the best product fit. We're starting to see a lot of building inspections coming in as well, where there's good product fit. So power lines definitely largest, building smaller but increasing. And then I would say wind turbines and solar are smaller areas for us. And then we have everything from cell towers to gas pipelines, but they are sort of minor areas.
And maybe, could you share, and that will be probably my last question, a fun fact that you got for the last years with your team, or building the product, or traveling in a country to build your startup, anything, that
yeah.
is kind of extraordinary.
Well, I don't know if it's extraordinary, but where before I started Scopito, I was working at a place where I had, really awesome place, awesome colleagues. And I always had the dream of starting a company. But, when you're very comfortable, it's hard to make that decision. So I had a friend who was sort of in a similar space, and we made a bet that we had to quit our jobs within 12 months and start our own business, or we had to pay the other guy, I think it was $10,000 in cash, which was a, fair sum of money when we were young as well. So and that's basically how how I pushed myself to quit my job and start the company. And he also did the same. And today we both have companies, and one of the best decisions we did in our lives. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Ken. That was very, very insightful, and congratulations for launching your company, of course, and running it until today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
Cheers. Bye.